I don't know what's more confusing, learning astrology or just being a human. Moonday Musings is here to help with that. A weekly, no bullshit guide for the upcoming cosmic forecast and how you can actually use this in your real life. Hello, neighbor. Happy Monday, my friend. Happy Moonday. Welcome to another episode of Moonday Musings. It is, in fact, the last moon day of the month. It is the last Monday of January 26th, 2026. What a month it has already been in so many different ways. Now, today's moon day is going to be a little bit more off the cuff than these particular episodes usually are. That's primarily because we usually start the first Monday or moon day of the month off with our cosmic monthly energy overview with each other. And then as we meet throughout the rest of the Mondays or moon days throughout the month, we go over in more depth some of those astrology highlights that we pointed out in the overview. And then by the time we get to our very last moon day of the month, we kind of pull from those different bullet points and we sift through everything that we started talking about, mixed with everything that actually transpired and happened. And then we take it all together and we go, okay, what from this am I taking with me into the following month? Well, this month was a little bit different. We didn't have our monthly overview. We did not kick Moon Day off this month on the first Monday of the month. We didn't do our overview with each other. We kind of just stabbed and started right in the middle at Aquarius season. And so today is going to be a little bit more off the cuff, like I said, a little bit more intuitive. But I also think that that's kind of the energy that we need a little bit right now. We will resume some of our more normal, regular moon day structure beginning next week on the first Monday of February. But for now, I wanted to just honestly take you through my own reflection and gratitude, maybe pepper in some of my own little tips or maybe suggestions or recommendations along the way, and let you run with that in your own intuitive and organic way so that you can really do some intentional reflection on what has transpired for you this month, what has taken up a lot of your mental space this month, what has taken up a lot of your emotional space this month. Sift through all of those experiences inside and outside of you and really intentionally take with you the parts of it that you are grateful for. Let yourself leave behind what is not going to serve you in February and beyond. And then we'll begin February together fresh next week on the other side of Imbolc. So Imbolc is a lunar and witchy holiday celebration inspired by multiple ancient ceremonies. It marks the middle or halfway point between the winter solstice, which was Yule, and the spring equinox, also known as Ostara. Now, Imbolc is this beautiful reminder of light and warmth. There are roots of the word Imbolc that mean in the womb, and there is this metaphor and symbol there that light is coming, that life is coming, that even our longest winters eventually transition into our springs, and our summers will inevitably transition into falls, which will bring us yet again to another winter. To me, Imbolc is a really, really beautiful reminder of the constant, always flowing, the always moving, the always continuing on. You know, we do move through this world in cycles, but remember, this is not the first time I've said it, and it is not the last time I will say it on this show. But these cycles are not perfect 2D circles. These cycles are spirals where we move forward in time. So yes, there are these similarities as we go around the wheel again and again, but make no mistake, we are moving forward. There's progress, there's healing, there's growth, there's change. So January. Let me take you into a little bit of my reflection about January. January, the first half of it is Capricorn season. And toward the middle end of January, we move into Aquarius season. And both of these signs are ruled by Saturn. And so January to me is a month that is meant to house a lot of reflection. It's why I don't believe at all. It's why this feels so unnatural to so many of us, that we're supposed to be basically done doing our reflection by the time January begins, so that all we can do in January is just move forward. This isn't really true. Capricorn and Aquarius energy are both very forward moving energies. Trust me. Capricorn being that climber, right? That goat climber, summiting great, great heights. Aquarius being this sign and energy of progress and humanity, very, very forward moving. Both are ruled by Saturn. Aquarius, quick note, is also co-ruled by Uranus, so I don't want to leave that out at all. But Saturn is a key player that I do want to highlight here for a second, because Saturn is a planet of reflection. Saturn is this planet that is always remembering. It's collecting our data. It is documenting our experience so that we have something to reflect back on, so that we're making informed decisions moving forward. Just so you know, my friend, that's a big reason why the Saturn return that we experience, both of them. If we're blessed enough to get to live to our second Saturn return, which many, many of us do in our modern times, your second Saturn return takes place as you cross over into your 60s. Your first Saturn return takes place when you cross over into your 30s. If we're even more blessed with age and life, we may even be living for our third Saturn return as we enter into our 90s. No matter what, these are grand reflection points. We're usually tasked with these different experiences, these choices. We find ourselves at crossroads. We're offered sometimes contradicting opportunities during our Saturn returns. And the purpose of it is so that you can reflect back on everything you've experienced, everything you've learned from that experience, so that you can make an intentional and informed decision for how you would like to move forward. So Capricorn season being ruled by Saturn, Aquarius season being ruled by Saturn. January is a month of reflection. That's why it feels very unnatural for us to say, hurry up and get all of your reflecting done by the end of December, so that all you do in January is look forward and move forward. So much of January is soaked in reflection. And so if you find yourself right now really thinking about the past, especially if you find yourself really thinking about history right now, especially maybe patterns that you notice in your own personal history or the greater world and human history, or even Earth's history, maybe our solar system's history, this is natural. This is natural for us. We are supposed to be in that reflecting space. And I've really, really allowed that experience for myself this January, for sure. I'm letting it illuminate for myself choices I've made in the past that I'm really proud of. I'm really grateful for. And, you know, those choices you made that you weren't super sure at the time, and now you look back in hindsight and you're like, oh my God, thank the gods. I'm also allowing it to take me into the reflection of decisions that, in hindsight, oh, maybe I would have done something a little differently had I known then what I know now. And the place where Saturnian work really liberates and unlocks our growth is when we allow that reflection, especially the latter example that I gave, when we allow that reflection to inform us to do better, to make something right, when maybe we chose a wrong, to choose intention where maybe we chose mindless and escape. It is not with the purpose of imprisoning ourselves in guilt and shame. Saturn's purpose in this great grand act that is reflection is so we can learn, so we can grow, so we can do the next right thing. I can tell you, kind of no matter who you are and what you believe and where you come from, I think something that just about all of us can agree on is that there is a lot of bad being just ruthlessly pumped into our world right now. And that is being, especially through media channels, that is just being put on blast to all of us constantly. And I don't think that's an accident. I don't think it's an accident that we are seeing constant examples of hopelessness and loss. And I mean loss in the sense that you probably already think of it. But I also mean loss in the form of feeling lost, feeling directionless. Part of that is because we are insanely overstimulated as a people. Technology is used against us to harm us and keep us not just distracted, way more than distracted, to keep us exhausted, to keep us overwhelmed. And those things put us in really desperate desperate mindsets. And it can consume us and really soak us through to the bone in hopelessness. There is no shortage of bad right now. Pretty much in every corner of the world. I can tell you, though, what we are starving for is good. And when I say we're starving for good, I actually don't mean that there's a lack of it. Though again, most major and even minor media sources will have us believe otherwise. Good headlines do still get clicked on, and they do still get shared, but not nearly at the same rate that the shocking and the horrific do. I come here with you today to offer you something I found very, very valuable in my own personal reflection at the end of January. And that, my friend, is the power of discernment, the importance of discernment. Truth needs to be shared. Voices need to be heard and uplifted. And sometimes that means what's being said and what needs to be listened to is horrific, and it is scary. And it adds to that feeling of overwhelm and hopelessness. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be talking about it, and it doesn't mean we shouldn't be sharing it. It does mean, though, that because of this massive imbalance of really negative information, stories, and experiences being just dumped on us right now. And again, right now, I'm not specifically talking about the hard, horrific truths that need to be shared. I am talking about the unnecessary weigh down. I am talking about the way that media is used as a tool to keep us in that hopeless place by just pouring the awful on top of us. And it is so important right now to be able to discern between those two things. It is so important right now to be able to discern your bandwidth every day and what you have capacity for every day. It's so important to discern what someone is saying and what they're trying to say. I had an interesting experience prior to recording this episode. And in my rage for what's happening in America, Minneapolis is now coming to my very own town, and so many others. I started leading with a little bit of mindless rage. It wasn't unfounded. And the reasons why that started happening for me were very, very valid. And it's, again, was from multiple things happening all at once, both in the outer world around me and lots of little big explosions that were also happening in my own personal world in the last week since I talked to you, which were a lot. Holy moly. We got hit a little bit left and right over here in our house by certain things, AKA our poor dog who ended up having Giardia, and nothing more serious than that, but it seemed like it was something more serious than that at first. At the exact same time that a major appliance, that our fridge started going out, all before we're about to get this major storm where we might lose power. We've already lost all this food because the fridge, I mean, I had a lot of these little big explosions again in my own inner world, on top of trying to stay informed, trying to take in truths no matter how scary they are, so that I'm staying up to date, staying informed, making sure that I'm listening, making sure that I'm learning. All of that started really impacting my mental health, and I started kind of leading with a little bit of blind rage, not sacred rage, blind rage. Discernment. It is important to me to set myself apart from those whose values almost dangerously misalign from mine. And sometimes it's really sad to figure out who that ends up being. And sometimes it's people you didn't expect. But I also started looping in some others. And I also started making some assumptions that weren't fair. And I started thinking, well, if you believed this at one point, you must believe this. If you thought that or supported that, it must mean you support what's happening right here. And guess what the truth was? Not that. That wasn't true. I made a big fat assumption about somebody who's really important to me. And I'm so grateful that I brought it up and that we were able to have an open, honest conversation amidst my misunderstanding, because this conversation of discernment came up and it helped me realize there are differences that we can hold with each other while still aligning in our core values and ethics. And then there are differences that mean we are not aligned in our core values and ethics. And that is super, super important. I want you to carry this forward, because right now there is so many powers that be. So many powers that be that benefit fucking greatly off of us destroying ourselves. Really, truly. Really, truly. It's why I won't tit for tat. It's why I won't shame one and fully give in to the other, whether we're talking about the two-party system in politics or anything else super binary. And what I realized is that I align with humans who value humanity. I do not align with humans who revel in violence and corruption. And so I'm paying attention. In my reflections, one of my biggest takeaways that I am carrying into February is I'm paying attention. I'm letting my observation get even sharper. And I'm watching. I'm watching who values humanity, who protects the sacredness that is. And I'm watching who just revels in violence and corruption. Binary thinking and binary concepts want us to lump ourselves and everybody else in one or the other, but the truth is that context matters and discernment matters. And it is so fucking important that we really, really hold true to those values. And I firmly believe that the only way that we really can is if we're paying attention, if we're being intentional. So, These are some of my very organic, honest reflections. Let's talk about gratitude. Sometimes when things feel heavy and when things are heavy, gratitude tends to seem like the furthest possible anything from our mind. Sometimes gratitude work actually can be seen or even utilized in kind of a bypassing way. And I cannot overstate the power of gratitude work. If we're talking about really starving for good, a world that is being starved of good right now, gratitude is some pretty majorly powerful and effective medicine. Gratitude doesn't need to take away from sacred rage. Gratitude can and should be used to foster and fortify your reserves. What gets you through, what carries you. So gratitude, real gratitude work, should never bypass or sweep under what you're going through, your experience, your valid emotions, all those things. It should foster strength. It should fill your cup. And navigating through, really trudging through the heaviest and hardest and even worst of times, it can be a friggin' superpower. Superpower that gets you from one day to the next, or even from 1 minute to the next minute. So the gratitude work that I'm doing this month is I'm seeking out the good. I'm really looking for it on purpose. In a social media sense, I'm engaging with it. I'm trying to make sure my algorithm knows I want to see more of this. And again, not so that it drowns out the heavy but necessary truth that's also being shared, but maybe zooming out even bigger. For example, the fact that social media itself can be this volatile and toxic place that has harmed so many can be used and is actively being used to share stories and experiences across miles, across oceans. It's used to share support and resources. It's being used to bring us laughter and give us a break. There are so many ways that it can be and is being used for good. But that is not what is primarily being shown to us. That's not what primarily is coming up on our feed. We have to look for it. And we have to put more of it into the world. So look for the good and be the good. How can you help? How can you help somebody? How can you help something? How can you help yourself so that you can be more helpful? What light do you have that you can share in a time of darkness? How can you hold what you're learning in the darkness to help others see that they too can get through difficult, desperate times? To me, this isn't bypassing. This is combating the intense overflow of despair that is constantly being dumped on us. It's combating it. It's the antidote to the poison being injected into so many of our lives. Over last weekend, we had our Capricorn new moon shadow work group in that witch school. And I knew that I wanted to utilize the vast majority of our call and our meeting with each other for safe space, so that people could come in and talk about what's going on, talk about what they think, talk about what they feel, talk about what they're seeing, talk about what they're hearing and reading. There were so many people sharing about their rage and frustration, their deep sadness, their fears, and all the different places we feel unsure right now. And then on top of that, people were sharing, all of this is going on, and here are all the little fires that have been happening in my own inner world, kind of like the little big explosions I shared about my inner world right now. I realized how important it was that we share and hold that space with each other. It's how we create and hold space for our humanity. It's how we allow ourselves a break from it all to grieve, to mourn, to process, to refortify, to re-strength, so that we can take the next steps forward again. And this experience in and of itself, though it was a heavy group, it was a heavy period. We all stood by and with each other as we shared these waves and waves of outer and inner experiences. And that experience, that space holding, no matter how heavy it was, in and of itself, was so bright, was so healing, simply because of the fact that it was taking place, simply because of the fact that we were standing with each other in solidarity and saying, you're not alone, I see you. Whether people were able to offer, tangible physical resources and suggestions, or they were able to offer their energy, their love. I'm sending you strength. I'm standing with you. No matter how small or simple it might seem, those little ways we were showing up for each other, they were huge. It was huge. It was such a profound experience. And it is one of the top items on my gratitude list for this month, heading into next month, is the incredible community I am blessed with in that witch school. The way that each and every one of you, my beautiful students, show up for each other. Both the students who were with us live that day, and even the students who came back later and watched the replay, and they were able to offer their experience later on. We were standing with each other. No one was, taking from somebody else. There weren't these explosive arguments. No one was offended or whatever. These little things that we fear, I think, when it's time to hold space for the big stuff, for the truth, for the heavy. It was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful gatherings I have ever been able to witness inside that witch school. Even thinking about it right now, just it makes me immensely, immensely proud. I knew going into that call the power of standing with each other. And it's exactly why I said, hey, this is what we're going to be doing today. And it still just blew me away how powerful it was. We exist in that witch school in our little corner of the world, and that's some of the good that we're doing. But even if you're not with us in that witch school, there is good. There is good. And don't underestimate how powerful the small and the simple, the seemingly simple can be. Look for the good, amplify it, blow it up, add to it, nurture and nourish it inside and outside of you. We all need it so badly right now. Share what's making you laugh just as much as you share what's making you cry. Stand with each other. I really believe in my bone of bones, my heart of hearts, my soul of souls. It's our superpower right now, and maybe even always. And so it's in this space, with gratitude in mind, that I would like to offer some gratitude for you as well. So I've got my Work Your Light deck here, as is tradition here on the last moon day of the month. And I would like to offer you a message of light today, knowing that, there's nothing wrong and negative and evil and bad about the darkness. We need the darkness. It's around us a lot right now, that's for sure. And the light exists because the dark exists, and the dark exists because the light exists. And their juxtaposition, their opposition to each other is what gives us the ability to even comprehend them, let alone appreciate each of them for their role and their purpose. So I am here to offer you a message of light. I invite you here to take some deep, intentional breaths. Roll out your shoulders, wiggle your fingers or toes, adjust your posture or position to feel freshly grounded and centered wherever you are, wherever you're hearing this right now. If you need to pause this episode, give yourself all the time that you need to ground your energy and cleanse your space. When you're ready to open yourself up to any messages, any insight, or any guidance that you may be seeking or needing at this time, you can hit play again. And what I have to offer you today, of course, is the Soul Family card. Oh my God, absolutely stunning. Let me find the Soul Family card here in the guidebook. If you are not already watching us on YouTube, I highly recommend making a pit stop over there at least so you can take a look at our card pull for today. This card has such beautiful symmetry, but if you're really looking closely and really paying attention, it's not perfect symmetry, and that is very, very much on purpose. The Soul Family card reads, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. It is time to call in your soul family and support team. People who get you at a soul level. People who are the same kind of weird as you. People who are your chosen family. They are coming and they are looking for you. If you haven't found them yet, this is a sign that they are close by. But in order for them to find you and recognize you when they do, it is important that you stop dimming your light and let yourself truly be seen. If you've already found them, then you are being called to let them support you and perhaps also assemble a wider support team. Your support team can consist of all kinds of people. A therapist, coach, a mentor, or healer. Tune in to what kind of support you need right now. This has a couple of meanings. The soul family, the support team, you already know. The energies, the people you automatically think of. But there's this secondary, additional message to open yourself up to growing that soul team, to growing that supportive community. I mean, the cards we pull are never an accident, but my friend, this is no accident. They are there. You are supported, and you are not alone. There is a lot of really gross, shitty, yucky energy out there right now that really, really, really wants you to believe you're alone. It really wants to isolate us, and it really wants us to anchor into that isolation. Really embracing, nurturing, calling in, and growing your support team and your soul family. This is a radical, radical move right now, my friend. It's incredibly powerful. Do not underestimate how powerful this is. Whether you're in that witch school, or you're just here in our witchy little neighborhood, and you're my neighbor and I'm yours, you are in community, my friend. I'm so grateful for you, for us, for what we've created together. We remind each other. I remind you, and you remind me just as much that I am not alone, that I am seen and I am supported. And I am reflecting and refracting that gorgeous light right back at you. Thank you for your time today and every day, for moving through day after day, week after week, through this uncharted experience with me. You are at the top of my gratitude list. Thank you for being you. Thank you for supporting me, for listening, and for being a part of our neighborhood and community. Until I see you next week, make sure you're taking care of each other. Stay safe. Don't ever stop making time and space for fun. And stay magical out there. If you are a big fan of That Witch podcast and everything we do here in our witchy neighborhood, I would be so grateful if you could head over and give us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This is something that helps boost our reach for the show, and it lets so many others know that what they're getting here at That Witch podcast is really, really good quality stuff. It only takes a couple of minutes, and it's totally free, and it makes a huge, huge difference from one witch to another. Thank you so much for your support, neighbor.